Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barford Weston Kensington III. I'm a gentleman that likes to travel and has done so quite extensively. I have seen some strange places and met some of the most interesting people ever. This is a log of my more recent adventures. Welcome to Barford's Gentlemanly Travels. Recently, I got to travel to a very strange and unique land. I won't lie to you, I was a bit worried when I first flew over the land, as it seemed that at some time there were quite a few airships that had crashed. While that was rather disconcerting, the lush, well-grown lands appealed to my adventurous side. Now, from the air, there is obviously quite a lot of grasslands, and even some overgrown mushrooms that are used for houses. I thought to myself, well, any land that can grow flora large enough to live in absolutely must be visited. Finding a nice open field, I put down and investigated further. You cannot imagine my surprise when I landed and met what appeared to be a walking, talking fungus. At first glance, it appeared to be a man wearing a mushroom hat, but soon turned out that it was actually the top of his head. Are you a mushroom, my dear chap? I asked, rather confused by this turn of events. Oh yes, he replied. You are in the mushroom kingdom. We all have some ties to mushrooms. I looked around and pointed to one of the larger houses. But that's a mushroom too, isn't it? The little fellow seemed to think I was a bit thick at this point. Of course, he said. What part of Mushroom Kingdom did you not understand? I wasn't quite sure how to explain, but I just had to get to the bottom of this. So you're saying that this land is filled with mushroom people living in larger mushrooms? That doesn't seem the least bit unnerving to you? I mean, my world is filled with humans, but we don't go hollowing out larger humans for some place to keep our stuff. He pulled a face and rolled his eyes. You see, they aren't living mushrooms. They don't do much more than grow and grow. And sometimes we harvest them before they get too large, but that's just to get the growth enzymes before they're all used up. Now, I was almost certain he was joshing. Oh right, pull the other one, it's got bells on, I said. You can't harvest growth enzymes from a plant. Besides, what good would they do anyone? Well, our heroes use them to get bigger and stronger. They are of vital importance. He led me to the center square of his little town, where there was a giant statue of a man with a mustache and overalls. Here's one of them, he said, Mario. Well, you can guess my surprise when I recognized a bloke I'd already met before. Oh, I said, you mean Jumpman? He's kind of well known in my world as well. He's the carpenter chap that kept a big giant ape locked up and abused him. Not surprising he would run away and change his name. The little fellow's eyes went wide as he said, Oh, heavens, no! He's a plumber. He saved the princess more times than we can count. Not surprising, I thought. He didn't seem to be the brightest cap in the field. He's defeated all kinds of monsters, cleared out castles, and managed to even start up the go-kart races that are keeping the peace in our lands. He was racing through his words now, and I swore if he kept on puffing up his chest, it would lift him up off the ground. So, while he rambled on, I decided I'd sneak away, maybe try some of the local cuisine. I found a lovely little restaurant and ducked in before my overly proud friend noticed where I'd gone. Now, needless to say, the place was very themed. It seemed that everyone in the land was amazingly proud of their heroes. There were several plungers stuck to the wall serving as coat and hat pegs, and overalls seemed to be the uniform of choice. Finally, I managed to get a seat and took a look at the menu. I'm still, to this day, not entirely sure what the plumber's delight or sewer shortcut are, but their descriptions did not fill me with much more than disgust. Taking a risk, I decided to go with what they insisted on calling Bowser's Trousers, and come to find out it was nothing more than a spicy rice and lamb dish. As a well-seasoned traveler, I have made a habit of learning the location of the facilities before ordering and eating any local food. And while the Bowser's Trousers was quite delicious, the special spice they used did not set well with me. I was never clear what the fire flower actually is, but it is not a substitute for chili peppers. So, a short trot to the little boy's room, and several grueling minutes later, I was washing my hands and realizing that the sounds of flushing were, odd. Stepping out of the establishment, I couldn't help but notice that there was a lot of bubbling sounds and some disturbingly loud splashing. I took a glance around the back of the shop and, would you believe it, the sewer system opened right up to the surface. I decided to let someone know. Ducking back into the eatery, I told the manager they might want to get a hold of those plumber chaps. There's a bit of a problem. Oh no, don't tell me Bowser's kidnapped the princess again. He promised he would stop doing that, the manager stated as he started stomping on the ground and pacing in circles. No, I told him, it's nothing like that. But you do have raw sewage spilling out into your lovely town. Again, I received the look like I was a blithering idiot. Of course it is. All our sewer pipes are connected and have open-air access. How else do you think we get from one place to another? He started chuckling at my expense, and even went so far as to nudge one of the waitstaff. How do you think everything, especially us mushrooms, grows so large? You do know the old saying for how to get fungi to grow, don't you? I nodded with a bit of a wince. I really didn't want to hear what he had to say. Well, we've overcome the dark business, but we still have a most abundant source of nourishment. Well, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, with that thought, I promptly returned what little bit of my lunch I had managed to hold onto right at their feet. Much to my dismay, they decided to take off their shoes, stand in the middle of the puddle, and wiggle their toes happily. Very quickly, and keeping to dry dirt roads, I made a mad dash to my airship and cast off. Taking back to the skies, I couldn't help but wonder how such a disgusting land could look so lovely from the air. I guess that just goes to prove that even the most beautiful things look quite unpleasant when you know too much about them. I've traveled to all kinds of different lands, worlds, and even universes. I've seen the weird, the strange, and the disgusting. I'm Barford Weston Kensington III, and these are my travels.